What is going on, everyone? Bullizerman1 here, bringing you a Vigor weapon review video. Holy moly, I've spent probably 6, maybe 8 in-game hours, probably 3 to 4 hours with 10.1, and then first thing I did when I fired up 11.0 when it came out was I recorded like 3 to 4 hours of footage. And then I played around with the first day of the season today. I wasn't really trying to get crazy and sweat and do meta crazy stupid stuff. I was mainly just playing the new map with my friends, did eliminations, had some fun, tried out a bunch of different weapons, got annihilated because I didn't know the map, and there was already people like pre-running spawns and using what I will get to is the new meta weapons, which I thought was pretty funny. Like, just right off the bat, I mean, not too much has changed as far as the old meta players using the new meta thing, because it's not that different. I mean, I'll just get it right out of the way and just say it. M249 is still just as accurate, just as deadly, and over the top ridiculous. SVU got a buff, in my personal opinion. Some people will be like, oh, it got nerfed, but it's more reliable. It feels more accurate, feels more tight. It definitely does recoil a little bit more as far as like vertical ascension. You know, when you fire it goes up a little bit. But the gun is like fucking laser beam. So that's like a 1 to 2 shot kill almost instantly, no matter what, armor or not. And you can reach out from 3 meters to 300 meters with this gun with 0 consequences. And it's fully auto. And it's more accurate while scoped in. Do I need to go on about the SVU? I'm not saying it needs a nerf. I'm super happy that it is the monster that it is, because it is a special issue gun. It takes a year and a leg to build, so it should be badass. It should be amazing. Here's the SVD right here. It went from having 0 recoil and spam firing to realistic recoil, and I thought they were going to destroy the fire rate on this gun, and I'm really happy to say that they didn't. So that's cool. It's virtually not any different as far as the fire rate's concerned, but the scoped accuracy is nice. This is the old footage. As you can see, it, like, the scope kind of bounces, but the gun has no recoil. That's the original 10.1 footage. And then when you get to the 11.0 footage, you'll notice that it actually has a little bit of a vertical recoil, a little bit of a snap to it. Third person, it's really noticeable. First person, it's so controllable because the scope doesn't move anymore, which is nice. So there's that. And yeah, so in this video, it's going to take a while. Sorry, my mind is wandering. It's 3:30 in the morning. I just can't sleep, so I figured I'd record this video right now. There's rebounding recoil, there is vertical climbing recoil, and there is floating recoil. Those are the 3 different categories of recoil that I've seen in this game. And the SVD in this footage has no recoil. That's why it was so damn good back then. But there it is. See it right there? That's vertical. That's ascension. Vertical recoil. So as you fire now, it scoots up. Boop, 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 boop. It goes up, 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 up. Very manageable. It almost comes back down to where it was. It's almost as good as rebounding recoil, but it's, you know, it's a semi-automatic with a little bit of vertical recoil, so really not that hard to handle. The gun's still amazing. Bullet velocity is great. Everything about it's great. Here is the H-bar. The 10.1 H-bar. You see that recoil spread? That's what I call floating recoil. It kind of does a little bit of off to the right, and doesn't really go too high. There it is. The barrel just kind of floats around. A little bit of deviation there. A lot of shots on target. Moderately reliable for spamming. Hard hitting. Fun. That was the old H-bar. Just hold the trigger down, keep the bloom on target, and most likely you'll kill. And here's the wild H-bar 10.1 aiming. Like, you see how the barrel just like literally floats around the screen? Doo-doo-doo-doo. Like, this is craziness. I'm so glad they got rid of this. Although with certain guns they still have it, like iron sight weapons still do that, and then the AUG A1 and the AUG Para still do that. They didn't really change those guns, so I didn't bother covering them. And the H-bar was a decent weapon. I mean, it wasn't a bad gun by any means, but that barrel floating was obnoxious. Definitely did not help it. So I'm really glad that they got rid of that. A good old dish test. Fire across the line and see if you can break all the plates. And here is the new H-bar. Look at that vertical recoil. No more floating. It just goes straight up. Yeehaw! Grab on and hold on for dear life. There it goes. Climb, 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 climb. It's not too bad, you know? I'd say it's still very usable in close quarters. Some people were like, "Oh, it makes it less reliable." I think it makes it more accurate. If you want my personal opinion. Because if it's just doing vertical climb, it's easier to counter that. If it's doing that floating shit, it's a lot harder to compensate for that. And here's the scope. Look at how crispy that is. Oh, it's delicious. Man. The only thing you gotta worry about is packing enough caffeine to keep your stamina up. Yeah, it feels great to shoot that thing right now. Definitely feels good. So watch out for people using that H-bar, man. And SG1 as well. There's a plate test. Okay. I felt like carving that path was a lot easier with the 11.0 H-bar than I did with the 10.1. I think that floating recoil is just duty. Total duty. Now here, reaching out to like, the 70-yard line, 100-yard line, I definitely didn't do justice with this gun. Like, I had problems shooting the farther target. But at that range, you should be scoping in. You shouldn't be third-personing it. I think the bloom is a little bit crispy, a little bit tighter, it seems, than the 10.1. Oh, here's SG1. Look at the recoil. People said the SG1 sucked. I was one of those people that like literally deleted all my SG1s. But if you look at the recoil in 10.1, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. And I think it's 40, 42, 43 damage per shot. So that's cranking out some serious damage. For that amount of spread, I mean, it's pretty reliable. I don't know why I had such a problem using it, though. That's because I was spoiled with the earlier version of the SG1. I think it was a Total Cadillac. As you can see, the recoil that's rebounding recoil. So it goes up, and then it comes back down. After it goes and then and just keeps riding. It doesn't really move around if you're holding down the trigger. So that's kind of interesting. The gun will do the work for you. But the 11.0 SG1 definitely does not do that anymore. So there's a difference. Some people think it's better. They're like, oh, it got buffed. I mean, the scoped accuracy got buffed for sure, but I'd argue that the SG1 now has worse recoil in third person than it did in 10.1. Simply because it had the rebounding recoil in 10.1 versus the what you'll see in 11.0. It's like some SpongeBob music in the background. Here we go. I'm ready. Man, I'm tired. I'm not even tired. That's the problem. It's almost 4 in the morning. Still awake here, doing my thing. Man, I rode the hate train for the SG-1 as soon as it got nerfed. I think it was like 8.1. No, earlier than that. Season 7, maybe? Maybe it was 8 or 8.1. All right, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Goes straight up, dude. Doesn't come back down. Maybe the spread is a little bit less intense, but it just has vertical climb, and that's why people are like, oh, it's better now. That might be better. Might be more reliable, I guess you could say. Yeah, that does look pretty good even standing up. I noticed this, I did a prone test with the H-bar versus SG-1, and I noticed that the H-bar sucks going prone now for some reason. Like, it used to be pretty good, but it kind of bounces around compared to the SG-1. I mean, it's still obviously really good prone. But look at this thing. It doesn't even move the crosshairs at all. No, yeah, that's crazy to me. I'm dancing around the target there, literally having fun with it. Look at this. That's disgusting. And look at the M249. Like, whoever says that's not broken, you're an idiot. It has no fucking recoil at all whatsoever. Look at this. Just 200 rounds or 150 rounds or however much rounds. Just doesn't fucking move at all. Like, watch the spread. I'm going to run up there and take a look at the spread on this shit. There it is. That's me without holding the right stick. I'm not compensating. When I do these tests, I don't use the right thumbstick. I just shoot the gun and it's the natural accuracy of the gun. Fucking look at that, dude. Without using the right thumbstick. That's me standing. Minor sway. Barely any horizontal sway. Look at that bullshit. Standing up. No, not even aiming. Same thing with the RPK. This is rebounding recoil. See, it goes up, and it naturally comes back down to where you were aiming, and it just holds on target. That's without using the thumbstick. I'm not correcting. That's rebounding recoil. Look at that spread. So, it's pretty fucking accurate. It's too bad I hate this gun. I never use this gun. But looks like it's performing pretty good. Some honky-tonk shit. I'm not about this life. Oh, this is floating. This is floating accuracy right here. So the barrel just kind of floats around. These ones are really hard to kind of compensate for because you don't know which way it's going to go. It just does this thing back and forth. Kind of like barrel swaying. I think it's more accurate standing up than it is crouched, which is crazy to me. Oh, here's the good old VSS right here. This thing got a pretty good buff for 11.0, in my opinion. I accidentally had it on single fire and then I spray. Spread is like, whatever. Now it's standing up, now we're crouched. It's a little bit tighter grouping. Nothing to brag about. This is all just using the gun's natural accuracy. I'm not compensating. I just hold down the trigger and show you guys where it lands. And I use the board so I can actually measure the distance that the crosshairs go back and forth laterally and vertically. Yeah, horizontal and vertical. That's just holding down the trigger. I'm not trying to aim over here. I line up the target and then I just hold the trigger. Like my hand is off the thumbstick at all times when I do these. That's just me putting it on target and then letting go of the thumbstick and just shooting. That vertical recoil, not a lot of horizontal, consistent. I'd say the 10.1 recoil crouched was better on first impressions, and then I used this more, and I'd say that 11.0 is definitely much better. It's much more consistent. That's the one thing the VSS didn't have, was it had this weird floating recoil in 10.1, and it was just, you know, you'd aim at someone and you'd swear you shot them 3 times and only 1 bullet hit them. So now I think people are going to be a lot more deadly with this weapon, reaching out to about 70 yards. After that, it gets a little ridiculous. Damage fall off. It's pretty terrible. But anybody on battery, anybody in Sagbrook, anybody doing close quarters combat, watch out for that VSS. It'll tear you up. Definitely. Yeah, so much better with the scope. Oh my goodness. Right thumbstick is off. You know, I'm not holding right thumbstick. I just line it up and let go. Let it do its thing. Two magazines without using the thumbstick to line up the shot. That's not that bad at that range. The ZAM76. It doesn't feel too different than the SVD. Just a little. It doesn't. The fire rate feels about the same. It's a little bit more punchy, slower bullet velocity. People might use this over the SVD simply because it kind of, if you're gonna get almost the same accuracy, this thing hits harder. So there is that. But SVD has a higher bullet velocity, so for long-range fighters, it still might be the better option. Of course, with the buff the SVU has, why would you even bring an SVD ever anymore? Kind of upsets me a little bit. But it is what it is. I did a few guns that were exactly the same, like they feel unchanged, completely unchanged. This has rebounding recoil. The G3 has the original recoil. See how it goes up and then comes back down? Up and it comes back down. That's all natural. I'm not moving the stick when it does that. Go try it out yourself if you don't believe me. Here's a floating barrel recoil. Same thing as it was before. Feels unchanged. I know that there was people that already did weapon videos and they kind of covered the meat of everything, but I figured I wanted to do testing with literally everything and then make a video and talk about it. So some of these, they don't have enough difference between seasons to really mention, but they're here just to show you guys that I put in the work. I did the thing. And this isn't even all the testing I did. I did standing, I did crouching, I did prone, I did 3 sets of scarecrows. I did the board, where I'm showing you grouping on board and then grouping on the wood. That's to give you an idea of the pattern of their, you know, the grouping. And then the board is cool because it'll show you sway. It'll show you like the recoil, vertical, floating, you know, side to side. It's a great way to test. So I line up with the board at my back there, that little stick, so it's consistent, and then I shoot at the board with my hand off the right thumbstick, and you can literally see the climb, and then you can see how many get on target as far as the board is concerned. It's a thin little board. So it's a pretty cool little test I do. M21 got a rework. Definitely feels a little snappier. Feels really good with follow-up shots. It jumps, don't get me wrong, but with the scope improvements, it's definitely cool. And yeah, watch out. There's gonna be a lot more people using the M21. I think it's a little bit more consistent than it was as far as the scoped performance. Its third-person performance is not too different. I don't think a lot of people will be using it. Thing about the M21 is, like, just give us an M14 that we can switch on full auto, you know, and give us the scope. Because people are going to be out there using an SG1 now, especially since it feels a little bit better, and they'll just annihilate you. I mean, you have 10 bullets, 11 bullets, and they have 21. Like, they have double your magazine, and they have a fully auto weapon. I would never use an M21 over an SG1 ever, so that's that. Look at this PAMD, dude. Look at the accuracy. It's kind of ridiculous. RPK, look at this. Watch this rebound recoil. Like, I get that the bloom is a little bit bigger and it's a kind of an unpredictable gun, but watch this shit. Look at that. It goes up and it comes right back down to where you were aiming, and it's just like right on target, dude. The old recoil system is wild, and like for most machine guns, it's the same. That's not me correcting. That's literally the recoil design of the weapon. Up, down, right back to where you were, barely any movement. Just comes right back down to where you want it to, which is pretty cool for machine guns. So I don't have the comparison footage of the 10.1 with the RPK, with the ZAM72, with the A74K. I mean, I have all the footage, but there was literally no change. So I just wanted to reiterate that, you know, I have a crap ton of footage, and I chose not to put it all in this video because this video could easily have been a 2-hour report. I didn't want to make it a 2-hour report. For it to go on as long as it has already, to me, is a little crazy, but, you know, I wanted to come out with a comprehensive video and give my thoughts, because I've seen a lot of people asking in the community, hey, what are the changes? Oh my god, there's so many changes. I mean, the content creators like Bobo Rail and Christopher Beast and a handful of other people have done a pretty good job of covering the changes. And I just wanted to do it in my own casual way. You know, I did a lot of freaking testing, so I figured I'd throw this video together and give you guys a rundown on it. So yeah, I definitely did not include every piece of footage because this video would be like a year long. No one wants that. So I thought the M60 recoil was so funny. I just sat here and I was just like, yeah, baby, reach up to the sky. It definitely gets out there. It just climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs. It doesn't let up. So messing around with the stick and controlling the M60, it's going to be a little bit more work. Look at the MG3. It literally bumps up like a foot or two, and then it just stops. Like your character's like, nah, we're cool. I don't need any more recoil. The M60 just keeps going up, but the MG3 is like, what? I thought that was pretty funny. MGV2, look at this. Fire rate, fastest fire in the game. Stabilized rebound recoil. Goes up a foot, comes back down, right on target. Watch. Zzz, comes right back down. There's a little bit of barrel floating, but yeah, it does the rebound. Goes up, down, right back to where you were. Pretty silly. Suomi is probably my least used gun in like the whole game. The Suomi and the PPSH. I know some people really love them. Some people name Half Metal, and that's cool. That's his jam. I don't really like it, and I'm glad that other people do. So I'm not the expert on the Suomi. The VZ52 rifle definitely is gonna get outshined by its common companion, the SKS. The VZ52 has always been pretty cool, but it has this weird thing where the iron sights are not true iron sights. Like you don't actually hit where you're aiming at long range, and it's kind of a bummer because you'd expect this rifle to be like, you know, really accurate, but you don't. It's not an assault rifle, so you don't have all the ammo. It doesn't have the fire rate. Look at this SKS. Look at this thing. It's literally a common version of the VZ52, but better. Just a straight up upgrade to the VZ52. But it's a whole weapon class beneath it. It's outrageous, man. I love what they did to the SKS. I'm definitely glad that I have so many of them. I mean, common weapons aren't... pardon me. Aren't really worth a lot, but I'm just glad that I hoard like a champ. Look at this. Compare VZ52 compared to SKS. This thing is nuts. It sounds so mean now. If you hear those things going off in the map, you know, keep your head down, because those things, they are nasty. 3-shot kills, man. 37 damage coming at you. The carbine, I thought it was gonna be a lot better than this, but it's doesn't feel too different to me. It feels like it's less floating. Feels like it's a little bit more crispy. All the guns that got reworked, they feel a little bit more crispy. Like they might have a little bit more recoil, a little bit more climb, whatever, but they all feel like snappier, the ones that they've touched. So definitely appreciate the reworks that have come out. The SKS rework is my favorite rework in the game so far. Hands down. Best rework in the game so far. So good on the devs for that. Shotgun, you know, shotgun reworks are pretty cool too. I don't know, man. I think SKS needed that love. It really did. Here we go, the auto test on the carbine. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I mean, I'd use a bugle over a carbine. Just this. For the low budget builds, carbine's the way to go. So with this, guys, this concludes our video. I will catch you on the next one.